Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name's Frederick Wheeler, and today I want to talk to you about the best way to buy cheap Dungeons & Dragons miniatures. This is a response to a request or information asked on Facebook about how to purchase or acquire Dungeons & Dragons miniatures from a new Dungeon Master. So let's talk about the three possibilities that I've heard people talk about. One, you're probably not going to find a situation where a box of miniatures for Dungeons & Dragons falls off into your hands, making your problems easier. Secondly, you're probably not going to find a situation where you can go in, find somebody else's collection and steal them. These are all just fantasy. And three, I know a lot of people think, well, I'm going to wait, I'm going to hang out, I'm going to check out eBay, I'm going to check out online, I'm going to wait for that poor sod that had to sell his Dungeons & Dragons collection, and I'm going to buy it up for a song. It's unlikely to happen. Nowadays people know that their miniatures and their collections are worth quite a lot of money, and they tend to sell them for quite a lot. So it's probably not going to happen. Might have happened in the past, but it's very unlikely now. So let's deal with the reality that you are probably going to have to fork out some cash if you want official Dungeons & Dragons miniatures. The easiest way to do this, and the way that I did it, was not to buy pre-painted miniatures. What you want to buy is the unpainted miniatures, and you want to go and get them from a board game. When I started out, I purchased HeroQuest, and it was full of miniatures. They were unpainted. I had a big supply of them, and so when I was playing Dungeons & Dragons, I had plenty to call from. Now, your options have changed now. HeroQuest is not an option, it's far too expensive, but Wizards of the Coast has produced a lot of board games, and you have lots and lots of options. So the first board game that comes to mind on Amazon, you can purchase Castle Ravenloft for $37. That's American. You would have to pay for freight if you're not in America, but that still equates to less than $1 for every miniature. There are, I believe, 40 miniatures in that particular box set, and it also comes with some interlocking dungeon tiles, which you will probably find quite useful. Next, there is the Legend of Drizzt. Now, that is $38, and you get 42 miniatures. I believe it's 42 miniatures. It also comes with those interlocking dungeon tiles. The cards and the tokens in there you probably have no use for. Next we have the Temple of Elemental Evil. Now I believe that comes at about $50 and you get 42 miniatures. And that gives you interlocking dungeon tiles as well. And then there's the Wrath of Ashardalon, which I'm going to show you very shortly. That's $52. And the good thing about this particular box set is very, very general. I don't recommend purchasing any of these game sets from the book depository. It just isn't cheaper. You're best to do it from Amazon. Doesn't matter whether you're in America, New Zealand, or anywhere else in the rest of the world. Now with the box sets, when we look at something like the Castle Ravenloft, that's going to give you vampires and undead, ghosts and ghouls. You get a Draculich, you get zombies, all those sort of undead themed things. So it's a themed box. So if you're running a campaign that's for undead, then that's the thing to have. If you want to run something that's more around drow and exploring the Underdark, then you want the Legend of Drizzt. Okay, it's full of those sorts of things. You can have aberrations in there and drow and other things that will be helpful for your campaign. If you are running something like the Temple of Elemental Evil, if you buy that box, that's really helpful if you're running the Prince of the Apocalypse, because it's full of cultists and elementals, and it's cheap. Next is the Wrath of Ashardalon. Now that's very, very general. That is going to give you lots of different monsters, and I will show you very shortly. In any case, I highly recommend the two cheaper board games, because you get so much for so little. I only have the Dungeons & Dragons board game, the Wrath of Ashardalon. I'm going to show you what's inside so you can see exactly what the miniatures are that you are presented with. This particular Dungeons & Dragons board game comes with interlocking dungeon tiles. They come with hallways, rooms, corners, just sections, intersections and hallways. and because they're interlocking, unlike the ones that used to be produced by Wizards of the Coast, they don't move around, so they stay still. So it's a great idea. So don't throw dungeon tiles away. The tokens and the cards might not be any good to you, but now on to the main one. How to deal with miniatures. Well, first of all, this particular one comes with a huge dragon. It's unpainted, but it's a pretty good sculpt. And it's cheap. Comes with a D20. We've got some heroes, all in blue. A lot of these sculpts are actually based off painted miniatures that Dungeons and Dragons or Wizards of the Coast produces. So you've got that is a dragonborn wizard. You've got a half-orc paladin. That is a human cleric, a female dwarf fighter, and an elf paladin. We've also got a bunch of grey guys here. So that is an orc storm shaman. We've got a little kobold there. We've got a Duragar captain and what looks like a little beholder. So you can use that as a spectre. Alright, orcs. We've got at least 3 orc smashes in here, all based off moulds that have already been produced in pre-painted boxes. These are just unpainted. You have orc archers, there's 3 of them. You've got Duragar guard, there's 3 of those. So I'll put them in the front so you can see them. You won't be able to make out the details very well because they are unpainted, but look, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of miniatures in this set. Okay, we've got a Rage Drake. We've got 3 cultists. I recognise this miniature because I have so many of them that are already painted. There are 3 snakes in the box. So, there we go. And we've got some Legion Devils. If you want some devils in your game, you're going to have some because there's some in the box. It's a big wide range of different monsters and creatures. And the last one. So we have here, is it an Utgar? I can't pronounce it very well, but they're hard to get painted, let alone unpainted. It's got 3 cave bears. You've got the Gibbering Mouther. There's 3 of them. I'm not sure you want to put 3 up against a party, but yeah, I don't know, maybe you would do. And then you've got 3 little kobolds. There's no goblins in this particular set, unfortunately, but kobolds will pass as goblins. And then there's the Greel, and you get 3 of them, which are aberrations. And that is it. I mean, that's a lot of miniatures for $50. Okay, that means you're paying roughly just over $1 for each miniature, and you probably wouldn't be able to buy painted miniatures at that price. You're probably paying more like $3 or $4. The demand for miniatures has gone up. Now, if you absolutely must have painted Dungeons and Dragons miniatures, don't go and buy the blind boxes. The blind boxes, you have no idea what's in them. I know a lot of people say, well, go and buy singles online. Now, in the past that would have been a good idea, but now it really isn't. They just aren't cheap. They used to be a couple of years back. You could get on there and you could buy 30 cents, 10 cents, 50 cents, and you could get a lot of the commons or uncommon miniatures, and you could build up your supply really, really easily. Now that's just not an option. Things are much more expensive. It's just the way things are, unfortunately. So if you're going to absolutely insist on having painted miniatures, buy them in themed boxes, and the best way to do that is the Dungeon Command boxes. So Curse of Undeath, I believe that's all undead. You get 12 miniatures, and when you purchase this box, I believe it's about $30. So you're talking about $3 per miniature. Probably a bit less than that. You're going to get 2 large miniatures in there. Same thing with the Blood of Gomesh. It's orc based, so that's the orc theme there. That's about $30 as well on Amazon. probably the cheapest one is the Undead one. There's a whole lot of other range miniature sets that are painted, but it still equates to getting more of what you want for cheaper. Okay, that's everything from me. I don't have anything else to cover. So if you found this video helpful or informative, and I hope you have, please share, like and subscribe. Make a comment below if you have some other options for purchasing official Dungeons & Dragons miniatures, and maybe you've used a different option online, maybe you've found a solution that I haven't thought of, but I did a lot of research, so I'm pretty sure I've got this right. But if you found a better way of doing it, let us know in the comments, and until next time, keep rolling those 20s.